it's not a source of as much pain as it would have been a few years ago. But to take you to the history of my knowledge about Apple, somebody that I met at the Berkshire meeting, who's an incredibly private guy, but I think that he won't mind if I bring up his name. His name, a man called Steve Wallman. Steve lives in Madison, Wisconsin. And in summertime, I believe that Madison, Wisconsin has a lake. He has a summer home on the lake. And he is, well, as you can imagine, way more introverted than most of the people I know. And I think I know quite a few introverts. And extraordinarily thoughtful. And really has learned Warren Buffett's lessons in a way that is really special, Tillman, because I can, it's relatively easy to find me and put me in front of a camera. If you put Steve Wallman in front of a camera, I'll buy you a bottle of wine or something. But Steve is one of the most thoughtful investors that I know. And so I'm with him at the Berkshire meeting, and he talks about Apple, and we're talking about Apple. This must be about 2004 or 5. And he says, look, I've had this simple insight that Microsoft is all about text and words and doesn't handle images and video very well. And what I see with Apple is that they've really oriented their whole computing towards doing images and videos. And he said it's so obvious, and he pointed out some things at the time. It's so obvious that is where the world is going. And the whole Apple ecosystem is far better set up to take advantage of that. Computing is going to be visual. It's not going to be about BlackBerry keyboards. It's going to, and that made so much sense to me. And I did nothing about it. And I think that probably because he was the kind of guy who made big bets, small but big bets, or small number of big bets, I suspect he had at least 10 or more % of his portfolio, which was substantial, I think, at that point, in Apple. And I think that like Nick's sleep with Amazon, you only really need one. And you end up, Nick, you could say, had Amazon and Costco and probably a few others that we don't know about. But when you have one investment like that from, I don't know what the multiple is from 2005-6 in Apple, but it's probably at least 50, if not 100x. And so that was something, and he's buy and hold investor. He would not have sold any of his Apple. And so that is something that I missed well before Buffett and Berkshire Hathaway invested in Apple. And I kind of, like, part of my dismissal of the idea was, oh, that's nice, Steve, you understand these tech businesses. And the thing for me is that today it's Windows and tomorrow it's some other operating system. Who knows? And I don't want to kind of like bet on devices. I don't want to bet on software. And I couldn't see through that period how the Apple ecosystem was coming together in ways that kind of locked it in place in a very, very profound way. If you think of all the different aspects of Apple's businesses, and the way that if you're on the Apple platform, everything just becomes a little bit easier. And I remember going through the learning curve of discovering how simply being able to have your app on the Apple screen, and then to have your app integrate just a little bit better with the Apple OS. So then when Berkshire Hathaway revealed its position, so now I've done nothing with this incredible insight, and it's playing out. But I'm still stuck in this mindset of, oh yeah, but I don't do tech or something like that. And then Berkshire Hathaway goes and buys Apple. That was a difficult meeting for me, because I had to acknowledge that a whole bunch of things that I was holding in my mind as a kind of dogma had to be discarded. And Charlie Munger talks about discarding your best loved ideas. And so this was a case of me having to discard some of my best loved ideas. And I think that it's an enormous mistake of omission. And it's a mistake of omission that was sitting right there in front of me. And, I didn't do it when Steve Wallman talked about it. And I didn't do it when Warren Buffett talked about it. I think to some degree I kind of said I have a significant position in Berkshire. And I kind of said, well, Warren's doing that for me, which is a legitimate thing to do. But yeah, it's a huge mistake of omission. Actually, Monish's eyes practically popped out of his head when I told him, I think I'm going to be talking about one of your Turkish companies as a mistake of omission. Because if we talk about my Turkish my desire not to invest in Turkey. What I'm being paid to do, what I need to do professionally, is to evaluate things dispassionately and rationally. And I think that, on the one hand, you have these personal experiences around Turkey and kind of certain views about where Turkey is. Then on the other side, you have the fact that I have a front row seat into a specific selection of a specific company with a specific set of people. And there's nothing in the rule book that says I don't put 1 or 2% of my portfolio into it. And if I had put 1 or 2%, I think that company for Monash is 20x. So 1 or 2% could have turned into 20%, all other things being equal. So it's a missed opportunity, a significantly missed opportunity. I don't think I feel either about Apple or about this Turkish company. I don't think I feel that terrible about it because that's the nature of the world. We have to live in such a way that these opportunities are going to pass us by, and it's okay because we've done enough other things right, if you like. So